Good afternoon and welcome to The Topic. I'm Daniel Scholl, one of the financial coaches here. And here on The Topic, we like to highlight our students, our programs, and our reach into the community. Today, we are going to be discussing Christmas budgeting. We're going to continue to talk about our financial focus. Every other month, we bring ideas for working more skillfully with your finances to live your best life, take care of your family, and benefit your community. Again, my name is Daniel Scholl, one of the financial coaches here at HCC, and I am thrilled to have as my guest today another financial coach, my partner in crime, Janice Wheelwright-Griffin. We're going to look at some ways to make the most of your finances during the holiday season and start 2025 off right. Welcome to the show, Janice.
Thanks, Dan. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was awesome. Ate far too much.
Excellent. That's what you're supposed to do. Did you spend too much money?
No, I did not.
Good. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. How can we get through the holidays without creating a financial crisis? The holidays have become commercialized. We all know that, right? We're surrounded by advertising. It's time to buy a car, time to buy electronics, all these things. Do we have to focus on the commercial aspects of the holidays?
Absolutely not. I think that's one of the things. It kind of puts us in this buying frenzy. And one of the things that they found out recently is that a lot of people, what they do, especially because Black Friday is the big kickoff for this, right? What they found is some retailers actually raised their prices prior to Black Friday and then lowered them. And they even caught some of the more savvy shoppers, caught some retailers like Amazon that actually increased their prices prior to Black Friday. So there was really no savings deal to run to be had. So there was no reason to rush into the commercialized buying season because you really weren't getting the deal you thought you were getting.
Yeah. And, a lot of people have made big events out of this, right? Families get together, they go shopping, they plan all this stuff. Are there activities that you, as your family do, or that you recommend that are alternatives to this commercialized buying as a family event?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things we've done is we've said, you know what? Why don't we just limit the buying to children only? There's no reason that adults need to be going in, getting things for other adults that they probably could buy for themselves, right? So one of the things that we do the no buy zone, right? So that's really good. We also do things like getting together and having family game night, board night. One of the great games that we play is called Left, Right, Center. It's a great dice game. You can buy this at CVS or Walgreens. It's like $10 and you play it. And I mean, it really gets the juices going and everything. And I think being able to do things like that, going out and looking at Christmas lights, because my God, we know that they started putting out Christmas lights in July, right?
Right.
All those types of things. I mean, and those types of things, as well as even colleges like HCC and other places, they actually do holiday productions where they're doing plays and different things. The libraries, there are all types of free events that many people can enjoy throughout the holiday season that just reminds us that the main reason for the season is just enjoying each other and celebrating the holiday and not celebrating overextending our budgets.
No, that's a great point. And the family game night, I know families that's their one of their Christmas presents they buy each year is a new game. And then they play it throughout the year. And, it keeps giving. It's the gift that kind of keeps on giving, right? And
absolutely.
It brings those families together. What about refocus? I remember for a while there, it was like opt out of Good Friday, right? Was the thing. What did y'all do for Good Friday?
Well, for Good Friday, we actually did a game.
Good Friday? Black Friday.
For Black Friday, we actually did a game night. So what we did is we said, okay, it's obvious because this is the one year that instead of 100 of us crowding into one house, everybody kind of stayed put in their own spaces for Thanksgiving Day. And that Friday night was our game night. So we said, okay, let's do potluck. What do you have the most leftovers? and we'll all bring it to one central location and we'll all do a game night. And I actually lucked up and scored a bingo set that came with bingo cards, and it actually has a spinner where you spin it and you get the ball out. And so we played bingo and we played left, right, center. So we had a great Friday after Thanksgiving.
And look, I don't mean to disparage people that go out and shop, but those memories that you made with your family, those are going to last forever.
Absolutely.
Right? That whatever you bought on Friday, that's going to go quick, right? Those are kind of fleeting. We talked about ways to save money. You had mentioned, your family doesn't buy gifts for each other. I know one thing like our family does is we've started doing white elephant. That's a good alternative versus buying gifts for everybody. Some families draw names. What other tips do you have that can help get something under the tree for the family without breaking the bank?
Well, I think another thing too is, and I'll go back to what you said about refocusing. It might be good too to do adopt an angel, where you actually get people involved in buying something for a family that's more in need than you are. And I think that kind of refocusing and having a gift under the tree for someone else, like there's the Angel Network where you're buying gifts for families that might have someone incarcerated, so those children are not actually getting gifts and things of that nature. And there's many organizations where you can donate your time as well as your money to where you can actually see something benefit from another. Another thing that we like to do is we like to buy special ornaments for each other under the tree. And ornaments are not that expensive. I know last year, one of the things that we did for our grandkids is we focused on one of the things that they really, really like. I have one grandson in particular who absolutely can eat a whole can of cranberry sauce. And I bought him a cranberry sauce Christmas ornament, and he's absolutely jazzed about that. So again, finding things that are more personalized and much more meaningful that will attach more to a memory, get that under the tree. I have another grandchild that's very interested in robotics and 3D printing and all that good jazz. So he was very happy with, a gift card that he can buy more supplies for what he's interested in. So
right, get what he wants.
Gets what he wants. So it's more really about, and I think when you take the time to really find out what's near and dear to someone's heart and what's really impactful to them, as opposed to watching, oh my gosh, what's the latest thing? Because again, for a lot of kids, that's very, very different with all the different things like anime and the Marvels and all these different things. I mean, it can really get into a frenzy. So finding things that really connect with the person and finding what they really want so that it has a special meaning up under that tree.
Well, Janice, we're going to have to take a quick break here. But when we come back, I'm going to want to continue to have this conversation about how to make the holidays meaningful without having a big impact on our bank accounts. So we're going to come back in just a few minutes and continue this wonderful conversation.
Awesome.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
For more than a year, we have kept you informed with more than 500 remote episodes. But now we're back, bigger and better with more news and more guests. Join us live every weekday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and on HCC TV at noon and 5 p.m. You can watch from anywhere. We go where you go.
Well, welcome back to the topic, the Financial Focus Edition. We're continuing our conversation about holiday finances with HCC Financial Coach Janice Wheelwright-Griffin. Janice, before the break, we're talking about making it meaningful, which I think is incredibly important. And I want to talk about that more, but also, we've really focused on gift giving at this point, but that's not all of the holiday expenses, is it?
Not at all.
What are some of the things that we don't think about that can bust our budgets?
Well, I think too, it's like, and like I said, they start Christmas in July, right? And right after the fall, the Christmas decorations comes out. And then, of course, with the heavy social media impact, it's decorate your house, decorate your yard. So you got decorations that are going way overboard, Christmas tree prices and things of that nature. Then you have the holiday menu party. And then there's the office party and the Secret Santa, and all of the things that go along with that. And you're just in a buying frenzy, on and on and on. The ugly Christmas sweater contest, and and of course the food budgets, the alcohol budgets, and it's party, party, party after party. And you're even have to bring something or participate, as well as, and of course, right after Thanksgiving, there's Giving Tuesday, everyone trying to cash in on their charitable donations during the holiday season. So it's a constant reminder of spend more, do more, spend more, do more.
Yeah, my emails have just been inundated, right? We got through the electoral season where I got about 35 million emails asking me to give money to various campaigns. And then we follow that right into, hey, it's time, and Good Friday or Black Friday's coming, Black Friday's coming, Black Friday's coming. And you're like, ooh, okay, I made it through. And then you're like, Cyber Monday, Charitable Tuesday. It can really feel overwhelming. How do people say no without guilt?
Well, I think the other aspect of that too, Dan, we also have to admit that, with this behavioral buying, that a lot of people really have felt the pinch of the inflationary costs, right? So some of their thinking is, well, you know what? I don't have the money for this big bill or this big expense that's coming up. I might as well spend it on Christmas shopping and gift giving. And, of course, that's the resistance of that, right? And so we really need to find a way to say, you know what? Let me calm down. Let me settle down, and let me find a way to say what makes most sense for me now. And really, and it's okay to share with someone, you know what? That's just not in my budget. I would love to be able to contribute time, or I would love to be able to do it at a later date, but just not feeling the burden of trying to do everything for everyone simply because you don't have that capacity. And if you don't get into the guilt feeling, again, that will alleviate some of that emotional burden off of you.
Yeah, that's true. And, most people are not upset. We put all that guilt on ourselves, right?
Yes.
We project that from others. You and I have talked a lot. I know you like to cook. You mentioned, the holiday parties and the food budget and the alcohol budget. And those are all things we do need to think about, right? Those are probably going to be outside of the norm come the holiday season. Do you have any cooking tips on how to get through the holidays a little bit less expensive?
Well, like I said, instead of, and turkeys were pretty pricey this year, as everything went up, right? So maybe doing things more potluck style might be another thing, instead of one family taking the whole financial burden of the dinner. Also, too, maybe thinking about roasting a chicken or a hen, or, go smaller in size, and then start thinking of things that, where you might say, what are the must-haves? Have that honest conversation with your family and say, you know what, do we really need 10 desserts? What are your favorites? I know I got a ribbing from my son because we didn't have my famous peach cobbler this year. But I told him, I said, well, when everybody did the signups, everyone decided to bring a dessert. So I thought I was off the hook. And he said, nope, you're back on for Christmas. So again, having that honest conversation with your family, saying, you know what, let's really think of, because the food is good, but it's not the most important thing, right? The most important thing is the gathering, the fellowship, and giving thanks.
So some of the things too that we did, I bought my turkey early. right? But then I always turn around right after Thanksgiving and buy another turkey and put it in the freezer. Not necessarily to have for Christmas, but they go on great sale at
They
that
do.
point. And you're right. There's no rules that say you have to have turkey for Thanksgiving and ham for Christmas, right? You can certainly build things out. Now, one thing you and I have also talked about is making meals stretch in the past.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about like all these parties and stuff. One year I cooked a big pork shoulder. I had a huge thing of pulled pork, and we took pulled pork to about 3 different events that we had that Christmas season or that holiday season. Any things like that you can think of as ways to kind of make things stretch?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I love to do is I love to go to the Honey Baked Ham store and buy a ham bone. I've shared that with you many a times. And they sell their ham bones for like $8 to $10, and they have a lot of ham still on them. And I throw that in a great pot of beans. Many times we get a turducken for Thanksgiving, which is a turkey, duck, and hen. And what we do with that is we throw that in a pot of gumbo for Christmas. So we freeze what's left to use in a pot of gumbo. So again, there's all kinds of ways that you can stretch so that you know exactly what you're going to do and planning those meals out. Because I know a lot of families don't like leftovers, but you can get real creative in tricking them and making those leftovers look brand new if you turn them into something else.
We can take a rotisserie chicken and get about 4 different meals out of it, to be honest. So bringing this back to meaningful times, I think one of the more meaningful things that I have found that people like at Christmas are gifts that are also food. Do you do any of that, like baking or making gifts that you cook there in the kitchen?
Yes, and I find, and one of the nice inexpensive gifts too, which is a great either teacher's gift or things that a lot of people don't understand, that a lot of people are trying to give gifts to teachers, the postal worker, and all that. And I'm not saying that you have to do that for everyone, but there's somebody been special to you, and you just want to acknowledge them. One of the great gifts that I think they're very inexpensive is to get a box of cookie dough and some cookie cutters and a dish towel. Put that in a nice box and give that, or hot chocolate in a mug. Things that people really, if they appreciate that type of food and that type of activity, just giving something to say, hey, I see you. I just want to appreciate you and thank you for being a part of my life.
100%. Because that's really, people don't care about the material wealth of what they're getting. What they really want to hear is, I hear you, I see you, I care about you, and I just want to let you know that. And that's really what these gifts should be about. Give a part of yourself rather than a part of your bank account. All right, we're going to take one more break. When we return, we're going to talk about maybe some New Year's resolutions for the new year and how to plan for the upcoming 2025 holiday season already.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to the topic, Financial Focus Edition. We're continuing our conversation about holiday finances with HCC Financial Coach Janice Wheelwright-Griffin. Janice, what's going to be happening here on the 31st?
Well, it's going to be year end and people probably gearing up to get ready to party for New Year's Day and planning for the new year.
Absolutely. Everybody gets all excited about the new year, right? And what do we all make? We make resolutions. Now, we all know what the number one resolution is, right? This is the year I'm going to lose weight. I've got that gym membership, or I'm going to renew it, but how often does that last? The gym's packed for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? We all know this, Janice. What's the second what's the second biggest resolution?
Get my money situation together.
We're gonna save this year. We're gonna get our finances straightened out. And it's the same thing. People stay hot for 6 weeks, right? And then they fall off. What are some realistic, impactful financial resolutions that somebody can make if they want to make changes to their financial situation in 2025?
Well, I think about what did I do? What did I want to do? And what did I do? And so when I say that, I think about, what did you want to spend for Christmas? What did you actually spend for Christmas? And then how can you do it differently? So that way you get a good idea of, because again, we talked about all those sneaky expenses like the decorations and the parties and those things. And a lot of people really don't have a clear idea of how much they really went over budget. Because if you think about it, the holiday is just really 3 days if you count Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and then New Year's Eve. But really, it's the season we've overspent, right? Preparing for this holiday season.
Well, and yes, it is a holiday season, and Halloween has worked its way into that season somehow. Actually, so this really starts back in October.
Absolutely. So having said that, if you actually look backwards and see what you actually spent, that might be a good guideline of where you want to budget for next year. Because a lot of times, like I said, people really don't have a clear idea of what they actually spent.
Sure.
So that's a good starting point. And then the other thing to do, let's think about the 12 days of Christmas, right? Why don't we think of the 12 months of Christmas and start tackling our financial goals 1 month at a time in a very microsecond? If you think about a financial coaching session, Dan, it's typically about 30 minutes, right?
30 minutes to an hour. Yeah.
So if you think about it like that, if there's 30 minutes that you can actually speak with a coach on one particular goal, if you focus on one goal per month, everybody has 1 minute. If you break that 30 minutes down into 1 day per month, that 30-minute session, what do you want to tackle for just that month? Is it an emergency savings plan? Is it reviewing your car insurance cost? What actually are your financial barriers that you really just need to talk it out with someone who actually has the experience and can give you the guidelines to say, you know what, 12 months from now, if we attack one goal per month, you're going to be in a much better position at December 31st of 2025 than you were at December 2024.
I love that advice, because I think when we set those resolutions, we give ourselves big goals, right? But we don't break them down, and then we get overwhelmed. I'm going to lose 65 pounds this month or this year. And then, that is reasonable, right? So it's 5 pounds a month. You can do that, but we don't think of it as 5 pounds a month. And by January, we're frustrated and we've given up. I really like this idea of breaking it down. And you mentioned something, we've kind of focused on the holidays, but as we're thinking about our resolutions for 2025, it doesn't have to be holiday oriented, right? You mentioned, work on your emergency savings. A lot of people do IRA contributions in the first quarter of the year. What are some of the other things that people might want to really think about as they're looking at their resolutions?
Well, Dan, I don't want to leave the holiday season just yet.
All right.
So I'm going to circle back to the Grinch. What does he do? He steals Christmas, right?
Right.
And what are the things that are really stealing our money? So many students meet with me in coaching sessions because they got caught up in these afterpay scams. Right? Because they do more than one, thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to pinch a little from here and a little from there. That's what gets us in trouble. Not realizing the credit card debt that we're getting into. So try to think about the little things that are like stealing away our financial stability. that can keep us off track for increasing our financial wellness for the year 2025. So I want us to think about those Grinch things, keep that in our mind, and stop letting it steal our financial stability and stealing our joy.
No, that's a good point. You know, I tell people all the time, anytime you borrow money because you were short this month, you're going to have less money next month. And it can really cycle out of control. We'll stay on this topic, I guess, for just another minute here. When I was a kid, going back in the Stone Age here, there was a thing called a Christmas club. And I've heard some credit unions have brought it back. Do you remember Christmas clubs?
I do.
So the way, you know, they worked is you would start saving for your holidays in January. Why do we not do that anymore?
Because I think the thing is especially going back to the Afterpay, it's the instant gratification. That's also why we don't have layaway anymore. We don't have the ability to wait to pay for something on time and then get that item after we pay for it. We want it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think internet shopping has just made that even worse. But, you know, I think to the people out there viewing today, look, it's not too late to start saving, or it's not too early to start saving for 2025, the holiday season. You know, track those expenses this year. Know what your budget is like you said, Janice, right? Look back, reflect, and then figure out how much you need to save per month for the next holidays and start doing it now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If their financial institution doesn't offer that, what's a good way for somebody to kind of create their own Christmas club?
Well, you can actually get a prepaid card that's separate from your bank account, and you can just add money to it as you would if you don't, or you can go to another banking institution. Let's just say your major bank is at Chase. You can go to another bank, say Wells Fargo, so you have two separate debit cards, and you can transfer money to that one account, and that Wells Fargo account can be your Christmas account. Because anything we automate, we tend to accomplish, correct? Because once we put something in automation, it's all systems go. So again, it's really more like I say, anytime we gamify anything, we get encouraged to participate in the game, and we make it more fun for us. So we turned a discipline approach into something that's more fun and something that we can involve others in. It's something we're more likely to do.
Absolutely. I always tell people, make it as easy as possible, get your money into savings and make it difficult to take it out. I like that idea of using a prepaid credit card or a debit card that way. Janice, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, sharing some of these tips. I hope this is helpful to everybody out there watching as they prepare for the final push of the holiday season. And so, yeah, thank you again for listening to us. If you want to listen to the podcast version of the show, you can visit hccs.edu/podcasts. For the topic on HCC TV, I'm Daniel Scholl. Happy holidays, everybody. Don't spend too much money.